Hi everybody, welcome to TinkerCAD Part 1. It's going to be just a refresher on how to get into TinkerCAD and how to get going. We're all at different points with our TinkerCAD experience, and everybody has got a varied level of practice. Some people have done lots of it and some people are just really getting started, and that's okay. I think a lot of that comes down to this sort of situation that we've currently been working in for the last month or so. So for now, everybody should have received an email that looks a little bit like this from me, and it tells you that you need to click on this link to get to your TinkerCAD class page. It says please email me if you need your login details, and that's fine. Hopefully by now you will all have received your own login nickname. And don't forget, this is going to work better in Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge rather than Internet Explorer. Some of you guys would have come across those problems in class as well, so hopefully we're learning from that. So if you need to get Google Chrome, you're just going to have to go to Google, type in download Google Chrome and do it that way, but please make sure that you check with a parent that it's okay to do. You can also get onto Mathletics and Reading Eggs at any time, but that's something a bit different. So for now I'm going to click on that link and it's going to bring me to my class login page. So here it is. I type my nickname in there. Okay, and you will do the same for you, and you'll type in yours and you're going to click on that's me, and it will take you into your own dashboard. My dashboard is full of lots of different things. I'm going to click on create new design, and that's going to get us a new model running. And remember straight away that it always gives it a funny name. Smooth L-bar is the name of this one. If you don't type anything in there, it's going to always just be called something strange, so give it a sensible name like my first home model, something like that. It doesn't matter too much, but just give it a name so that you know what it is. And remember that this blue surface here is like your tabletop. It's like the space, the surface that the model is going to be built on top of. So objects I might want to use are in this sort of list down here. I'm going to start really simple today, just putting click and drag and drop a red square and a cylinder, and I'm going to grab a cone as well. So I want to, if you look at the cylinder here, it's really sort of blocky, lots of surfaces to it. I'm actually going to increase the number of sides and make it a lot smoother, and then I'm going to lift it up into the air using this little black cone here that goes red, and then I'm going to try and sit it on top, okay, of, sometimes a bit fiddly, but you'll get there. So keep trying until you got it. Oh, so that looks like it's right, but when I then change my view, I can see there's some daylight in there, in that gap just there. So actually I need to drop it down one notch. Now they're not aligned. These two shapes are not on top of each other. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click and select them both. I'm going to then use my align tool up here in this corner here, or I can press the L key. So you have to have them both selected first and then press the L key, or click that button. So it gives you some black dots, and what I want to do is I want to align them to center. So I want to center them on each other. So as soon as I do that, okay, it sits them nicely on top of each other. Okay, to combine those two objects to become one object, so these two different pieces of plastic, my orange piece of plastic, my red piece of plastic here, I select them both like I did there. So that's just simply a click and hold and select, and then this one here is group. So I can hold Control and press G if I want to. That's the little tool tip underneath in green. So if I'm going to click group, joins them together. It sometimes takes a minute, but there you go. That's one piece of plastic. Now here is something I want to do, a takeaway. I want to cut this shape out of this section. So if I group these at the moment, it's going to join my purple piece of plastic to my kind of red model that I've got here, and that will make a solid. So the purple section is going to be a solid. If I turn it into a hole like this, so if I click this one, it's going to turn it into thin space, thin air, nothingness, whatever you want to call it, but it's just going to be a big cutout. So I can use the shape of this object to cut out a section out of my plastic. Again, if I want to, I can change the number of sides to make it like smoother. I can change the height with this slider, or remember changing the shape of the objects, I can actually use the white squares. Okay, if I actually want to give it an exact dimension, so if I want it to be exactly I don't know, 25 millimeters wide. Okay, I just type in 25. If I want it to be 25 millimeters, 25 high as well. Okay, so it's 25 millimeters by 25 millimeters. I'm going to make it 25 millimeters high as well. So there it is. I've resized my object. I'm now going to just kind of sit it somewhere. It doesn't matter. Just try and make sure they are overlapping or intersecting. I'm going to select all of those objects. So the red model that I've got and my thin air, my thin space, and then I'm going to press group. And when I do that, it might take a minute, but it's going to cut out that shape from my object. So if I'm holding my right mouse button, I can actually revolve all around and I can see different angles. If you've got a mouse wheel, then you can scroll in and out to zoom, or you can actually press these buttons over here to change your view. And again, you can actually use this cube up here. You can click and drag and move your view like that. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of lesson 1. So check out lesson 2 and we'll be moving on to something a little bit more tricky.